Welcome to the Best of the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration attorney, and we're happy to welcome you. And we want to say thank you to everyone who supports us on all our platforms, especially those who write to us on social media, follow us, and share their immigration stories with us. We're grateful to the community that we have built together and it has inspired us to create this podcast. We hope you enjoy it.
Hello, Jim.
Hello.
Thank you so much for taking my call today.
Of course.
Yeah, so I just want to know when the best time is to file. For my first entry into the United States was June 2024. I entered New York and I came to St. Louis, Missouri. That is where I met my wife. Then I left afterwards to Germany. And so we kept in contact. And she visited me in Germany in September. We did some trips together. We met my family there. And then she came back. So that's where I proposed that we make things serious. And then fast forward, we got married in November 2nd. Then I left back to Germany again. This time around, I'm back. I entered on April 10th. And we are thinking to do adjustment of status route.
So somebody's moving all the aluminum cans. I don't know if you guys can hear that. So you entered in April 10th?
Yes.
And after April 10th, you somehow decided that you were going to file for a green card? I mean, if you file in the first 60 days, then they think you entered under false pretenses and they could hit you with a misrepresentation charge. Did you have any kind of conversation with CBP when you came through this last time?
Yes. So my original return ticket was supposed to be Wednesday.
So how long did they give you on this entry?
They gave me the 6 months.
Okay. No, but my question was, when you came through CBP and you talked to them, what did they say to you and what did you say to them?
So I told them I was visiting and I had a return ticket. And
Visiting who?
Friends.
Not your wife.
No.
So you can see how this is a problem. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, why did you do that? Why did you leave anyway? That was silly. All of that was silly. Everything you did was, since getting married, all this was silly. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
So why?
So
why this going back to Germany and coming back? I mean, once you're married to a U.S. citizen, there's no guarantee of other entries being allowed back in. And more importantly, sometimes they let you in and then they say you lied about why you were re-entering. So why didn't you just stay here the whole time after you got married?
So initially we thought of doing the consular processing routes.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me what that plan was.
So that plan would mean I would stay over there in Germany and we would file through the consular routes.
Right. But how far down that road did you go? Why did you end up not doing that?
So we just thought that process is longer.
Yeah, it is. That's true. Are you having a hard time answering my questions? Like, why is it? What's difficult? Are you upset about this, or what's going on?
No, I'm not upset. Not upset. I'm just listening.
Okay. Well, you've made some errors. I think that. Well, okay. Actually, we haven't made any errors yet, but I think. I mean, first of all, for everybody watching, if you're coming to see your spouse, don't say I'm coming to see friends. Right? Like that should never happen. That's called a misrepresentation. That in and of itself, having a spouse in the U.S. citizen, because a spouse in the United States, that's a problem. And then when you say you're coming to visit friends, in other words, the CBP official had no knowledge sitting there in front of them, did they, that you were married to a U.S. citizen?
Yeah, they had no knowledge of that.
Right. So they weren't surprised by all. It seems like you've entered a lot and left like 3 times since November of 24. Is that right? Or no, did I get that wrong?
So this is my 3rd entry.
Yeah. So let me ask this question. Let's go back. When you first came to the United States, well, actually, when you went to the embassy, to get your visa, what was the stated purpose of your visit?
So the intended purpose was to attend a program.
And did you do that?
I did not come in person, but I participated online.
Well, why couldn't you have done that in Germany?
No, the program was happening in Florida.
But you attended virtually.
Yeah, I attended virtually.
So why couldn't you attend virtually from Germany? Why'd you have to come to the United
Yeah,
States?
that's what I did. So initially, I intended to come over, but I changed my mind to attend virtually.
No. Okay. So wait a minute. So you're telling me that you told the State Department that you were coming to the United States to go to a conference, right?
Yeah.
Didn't say anything about a virtual option, right?
No, we didn't talk about that.
And they gave you the visa on around what time? Don't tell me the exact date. Around what time did they give you the visa?
It was in February.
And when
I was supposed to go for the conference in May.
The conference was in May. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long before the conference started did you enter the United States?
So I came later in June.
So you didn't even come for the stated purpose of your visit visa, right?
No, yeah, because I did it online. I didn't come in person.
Right. So when you came in June, where did you go?
When I came in June, I went to New York.
Why did you go to New
I
York?
went to friends there.
Okay. How long did you stay in New York with your friends?
So it was 11 days.
And then where did you go? To St. Louis?
Yeah, I went to St. Louis.
Why did you go to St. Louis?
I have friends there too.
Okay. And who picked you up at the airport?
One of my friends picked me at the airport.
Your friend who's now your wife?
No.
Okay. How long was it before you started staying with your wife in St. Louis?
So it's just this trip.
Just this trip. Okay. Yeah. Wait, no. So, you entered, you were in New York for 11 days, then you come to St. Louis. How long after you arrived in St. Louis did you start staying with your spouse?
No. So my first entry, I came to New York.
Yep.
4 days afterwards, I went to St. Louis. I met my friend there. So coincidentally, I met this lady. We got in contact.
How did you meet her? How did you meet her?
I was hanging out at a local spot, and coincidentally, she was also there. We bonded over food, and that's it.
Okay. So the second visit that you had, what did you tell CBP was your visit when you came the second time?
So they just asked me if my purpose was business or tourism. I said tourism.
Okay.
And that was it.
That's it?
Yeah.
And did you do any tourism when you entered?
I looked around. But for the second time, it was just from the marriage. Yeah.
You are way too clever. Way too clever. They're going to crucify you with these answers. These ways you give me these answers, you're way too clever, and you're playing way too cute with the facts. I think if you file for a green card on this trip when you entered saying you were going to visit friends, but really you came to see your wife, I think that they're going to crucify you and you're going to need a waiver. So if I were your attorney, I would strongly recommend that you not apply for adjustment, that you go back home and have your wife file an I-130 and say to yourself, oh, it is going to be a longer time and a longer wait, but by doing it this way, we're going to, number one, increase the chances of it getting approved, and number two, hopefully not get hit with a misrepresentation.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I didn't want to be mean and I didn't want to get mad. So I kept it sort of chill, but that's not how you answer questions. That's not how you act. That's not what you tell CBP. I tell people all the time that getting a visit visa or getting admitted to the United States sometimes might be the worst thing possible. He and I need to make a video on this. Sometimes getting that visit or getting that entry might actually be worse for you in the long run because of what he just said, that he wasn't honest when he entered back into the United States, saying he was going to visit friends, not saying anything about the fact that he's married to a U.S. citizen.
Hi, Jim. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a quick question for you. Hopefully it's quick. I'm a naturalized U.S. citizen, and my husband is undocumented. We have been married for about a year, but together for about 6. And he has been in the U.S. since the 1980s when he was a child. He has had some implications having to do with his case, but I won't get into all that. In any case, we have not yet filed a petition for him as his sponsor. We were told in the past when we wanted to file under Biden's parole in place program that we would not qualify for that program, or he would not qualify for that program because he entered a guilty plea 20 years ago for possession of more than 20 grams of marijuana.
Yeah.
And he has 2 other guilty charges for possession for smaller amounts from around that same time. So my question is, will that guilty charge automatically disqualify him from a regular, I-130 petition for an adjustment of status and for the parole in place waiver? And the second question is, should we file now or should we wait for our 2nd anniversary to file to kind of make everything a little easier?
I don't think, okay, so everything hinges on the criminal charge. If he has a relatively serious drug charge, that's going to keep him from ever being admissible to the United States. So this would be a terrible time to raise your hand and say that he's here, because if you try to start the process by filing the I-130, they'd schedule it for an interview, and then based on news stories we've been hearing lately, they've actually been arresting people and putting them into deportation at I-130 interviews, at least here in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody needs, if they haven't already, to drill down on that criminal conviction, see if it renders him inadmissible. And if it does, then I hate to say it, but somebody's going to have to either go back and try to undo that conviction, and it's going to have to be based on state law, not to clear up his immigration history. They're going to have to find some hook in his sentencing. Maybe he wasn't advised of the immigration consequences. Maybe there's some fundamental defect in the statute. But if you don't get rid of that conviction, he's not getting a green card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we do have some information on that. So it's not some huge charge. It was literally like 21 grams or 22 grams. It's a very small amount, and it was for personal use. It was not for trafficking or anything like that. He also didn't serve jail time for it. It was basically just like whatever it was that they told him to do, pay a fine or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So we
That's
were
fine.
told.
But that's fine. But do you have a lawyer telling you in writing that it is safe for him to apply for a green card?
No, we have not gotten that yet.
Because they're not going to, because it's probably not safe.
Okay.
Even without Trump,
Yeah.
If he has, I mean, there's let's find the minor personal use marijuana immigration. Just because I don't want to misquote it.
Mm-hmm.
This makes for great television while I look it up. Okay. What state?
Florida.
And do you know what the range of punishment was?
No, I do not. All I know is he didn't have a punishment. Like I said, he didn't serve jail time.
Right.
It might have been
Remember, they're looking for ways to deport him. They're looking for ways
Yeah.
for it to be a problem.
Right. Okay.
So what's the overall?
We were told in the past by an attorney that we could seek to have it not expunged, but there's another word for it. Basically, what you said earlier, at the time he was not warned that his guilty plea could impact his immigration status. So based on that, we could have the charge, I don't know what the right word for is, the legal term.
Probably vacated is what you
Okay.
need.
Okay. And that's done through the local municipality, right?
If you're going to explore that option, what you should do is find the best criminal defense attorney who works in the city in which the conviction was. Go see them and say, hey, this case has a Padilla violation, P-A-D-I-L-L-A. We have a Padilla violation. My husband wasn't told about the immigration consequences of his plea when he pled, and it's going to keep him from being able to ever get a green card. Now, the attorney should request the transcript from the plea to make sure that your husband wasn't told, because a lot of times people say, oh yeah, no one ever told me. But I've had cases where the public defender said, not only is it going to affect your immigration status, it's probably going to get you deported. And it's all on the record, even though the client said to me when I first got started, oh no, they never told me. So you got to make sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you for that information. And also, is the, from what I understand, from what we were previously advised, the amount that he was, that he pled guilty to, the 20 grams was like the magic number. Is that number equal across like that hasn't changed? It doesn't matter which, which program he's filing through. That seems to be the number, correct?
It's 30 grams.
30. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I should check on that, because I do think it was 20, but not 30, somewhere in between.
Yeah. So if I'm you and I don't want to spend a bunch of money on this right away, I would go get, the spouse, not him, would go order the transcript of his guilty plea. Yep. Find the case number, go to the court, request the transcript, pay the fee, then see if there's anything in there about them advising him of the consequences, and then go. And then if yes, then go hire the criminal defense attorney.
Okay, so even if the amount is below the amount that would automatically disqualify him, we still should try to have this vacated one way or another before we begin any kind of process.
Not necessarily, but if it's below the statutory limit, you still have to look at the statute to see what the range of punishment is. So I don't know that low amount just solves it. It depends what the range of punishment was for the crime he pled guilty to.
Okay, makes sense. Great. Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate your advice.
Have a great day. Let's say hi to George. Hello, George.
Hi, Jim. Can you hear me?
Go for it, brother. I got you.
I talked to you last year, and I really appreciated what you gave me advice for last year, but I got married and I have an immigrant wife, and we filed all the paperwork and whatnot. But it seems like that our marriage has gone south, and I believe that she's really in it for fraudulent intentions. I signed land over to her. I got her a job making $80,000 a year. She doesn't contribute into the house. She sends all her money to Kenya. I have no access to any of her records. And we don't sleep together anymore. And that was systematic. She's now become a roommate. And I don't know what to do.
I'm very sorry that you're going through this. So right now she has a conditional 2-year green card?
No, she has nothing.
Oh, you haven't filed for her?
Right. She was here on asylum. Then
Okay.
I met her. We got married. I filed the I-30 and then all the other forms, 864, everything. And no, she doesn't have any green card or anything. We're waiting for an interview. But Jim, I can't go to an interview and honestly say that this is my wife.
Right. So as a U.S. citizen, you have the right to withdraw the I-130 petition that you filed for her.
Okay, let me ask you this question. What are the implications to that?
Well, did she withdraw her asylum case?
I don't think so.
So then she's in the same position she would have been before you guys got married.
Okay, now I believe that she's in this marriage for ill intentions. Does that doesn't bode well for her with USCIS, does it?
Well, your beliefs about her intentions don't mean jack squat.
What about that? What if I prove things?
Well, so I don't really help people mess with other people's immigration status. So that's
Okay.
not something I'd be able to comment on. As I
Okay.
mentioned, you have the right to withdraw the I-130, and people do it with a blaze of glory with mean letters making all kinds of accusations, but that's not something I would help with.
No. I understand. I understand.
But if you withdraw the I-130, then the green card case is over.
Okay. And she's back on asylum.
Mm-hmm. The green card can't be approved if there's not an underlying petition, the I-130.
Okay. But there's no severe penalty for her.
Well, I mean, you're talking about like criminal stuff?
No. Meaning that they wouldn't even hear her asylum case.
Okay. So if they believed that she filed a fraudulent marriage-based case, then that would prevent her from getting any immigration benefit, including asylum. But that's a huge finding. Even letters from a mad spouse withdrawing the I-130, I don't think would be enough to carry the day to keep her from being able to get to asylum.
What about all the financial aspects?
What do you mean?
I signed land over to her. I made her beneficiary on everything, gave her life insurance.
Yeah, so you need to see a divorce attorney about that.
Okay. Understood. I appreciate your help, Jim.
Sorry, George. Good luck, brother.
Thanks. Take care.
Intuitive Safe Haven, hello.
Hey, Jim. I have a question. I guess because of recent events with the election and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to get married to my fiance, and he is a non-citizen. So how do you think the new changes would affect like us filing a I-130 and, et cetera, et cetera? Do you think that it's going to be a little bit more difficult for us?
Every case is going to get an interview now.
Every
and it's
case?
going to take longer. Mm-hmm. And they're going to make people find fraud behind every case. They're going to look for fraud. So, are you a U.S. citizen?
I am.
And how did your spouse enter the United States?
On a visitor visa.
How long ago?
We met over a year ago.
Okay. It's okay. That's all forgiven. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, that's forgiven, right? I would say if your plan is to get married and to get started on the process, I would encourage you to try to get it on file sooner rather than later, just because once Trump comes in, they're going to slow everything down.
I remember you telling me last time I spoke with you that we should wait about 60 to 90 days before doing anything because he's
Why? Why did I say that?
Huh?
Yeah, but when did he enter, though? I thought you've known him for a year.
Yeah, I've known him for a year, but he's not here now.
Oh, he's not here.
He's not here right now. He's coming back in January.
Okay. Well, of course, he can't come with the intent of trying to get his green card. So if so yeah, you still, that rule still applies.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we should wait at least. I want to say at least 3-4 months after he comes back.
You have to.
And so basically the process would just be a little bit longer for us. Okay.
Yep.
And about producing evidence, because we talk to each other every single day. We can't really open a bank account as of yet because he's not here. Like, is there any other ways that we can like present evidence of like it's a valid relationship?
So have you said you've known each other for a year. Have you taken any trips together?
Yeah, we went to Florida. We went to a couple places here in St. Louis. Yeah.
And if you were to get married, would your family come?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get affidavits from them. I mean, I would say don't spend too much time thinking about this until he's actually here, and then let's talk after 60 days go by.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much for your insight.
Hang in there. You got it.
All right,
See ya.
thank you.
Well, there you have it. Another edition of the Best of the Immigration Answers Show. Again, my name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration attorney practicing law throughout the United States, out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. If you want to get a hold of us at the firm, you can email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com, or you can call us at 314-961-8200. You also can join our free Facebook group. It's called Immigrant Home. We'd love to have you join us there. There's thousands of immigrants talking about the immigration process in there every single day. We also have our YouTube channel where you can subscribe to see all of our videos and to get alerted whenever we go live, whenever we're going to record another episode of the Immigration Answer Show. Maybe you could be a guest and ask us a question. Finally, if you're not following us on TikTok, we suggest you do at Immigration Hacking. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.